Hey, home groups, welcome back. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited to start gathering together again, eating and praying and talking about God's Word. It's one of my favorite things that we do as a church is being in home groups. Some of you are going to be in a group that you're familiar with. Some of you are trying a new group this year. I hope it is a wonderful season of growth and community building for you and for our church family. So this week, we dived back into John chapter 6 as we're working our way through the gospel. And we looked at verses 22 through 35. And so in that text, Jesus is really drawing out and explaining what is saving faith. And he does it by clarifying what it is not. So in this conversation that Jesus has with the disciple or with these followers, the multitude that were just fed, as part of that miracle feeding of the 5,000, they come seeking Jesus. They're looking for Jesus. They have a desire to be where Jesus is, to interact with Jesus. But that seeking of Jesus is not saving faith. And Jesus exposes that and helps them to understand that. And hopefully that will help us as well. So there's three kinds of faith that are inadequate or false or not saving faith. One is a vending machine type faith, where we just see Jesus as the means to the end. Jesus is not what satisfies us, but rather what Jesus can provide is what satisfies us. So a more comfortable life, a more material wealthy life, a healthier life, a particular relationship, particular emotional state of mind. There's something that we want Jesus to give to us. And so we see him as a means to an end, but not the end himself. That's a false kind of faith. The second is a transactional faith, where they come to Jesus and they say, what do we need to do that we may do the works of God? What work must we do? What do we contribute to this? So, what payment do we give to you in order to receive goods and services from you? So it's very similar to the vending machine type faith. But the idea is that we must be able to do something. But the reality is saving faith is a gift from God, and it is a work of God in our hearts. We are trusting and treasuring Jesus who gives himself to us. So it's not transactional. It's not us doing in order to receive from God. It's simply God giving to us because he's gracious and kind and wonderful. And then there is the third kind of faith. It's really not faith at all, because it just is constantly needing verification. God, you have to prove to me. You've got to write it in the sky. You've got to give me a sign. You've got to write, you got to make my heart feel all warm and fuzzy in a particular way before I'll be convinced to do what you say, to follow you, to trust you, what have you. That kind of faith is not faith. It's constantly needing to be verified. But true saving faith is an internal, I am convinced, I am persuaded, I am confident that Jesus is who satisfies the longings of my soul, and I want Jesus, not the stuff of this world. That is saving faith. So as you discuss that tonight as a home group, I hope that provides you a good recap of Sunday's sermon. May the Lord bless your conversation.